All right, everyone, I just am leaving I just got home from actually, what the hell is it called? The Men Networking Group. It's not a networking group only for guys. It stands for Midland Elder Care Network. It meets the third Tuesday morning of every month at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. at the Thompson Alumni Center on the west side of the North UNO campus. It's a very good group. It brings together professionals from all sorts of industries that help out seniors and help out older adults. So there's people there that help do estate planning and will preparation. There's people there who help seniors transition from leaving their home into some sort of facility, whether that be assisted or independent living, or like the Elmwood Tower in Exarban. But yeah, and then there's people like myself there that help people with Medicare. So it's just a good networking group. It's a good way to learn about some resources for your clients who are elderly. There's so many different resources. There's a guy there that calls himself the Fall Down Go Boom guy, essentially a quote life alert product for if you fall down, you can press the button and get help sent to you. But yeah, it's a very good networking group. And of course, every time I go back to UNO, my alma mater, I think that's how you say that, gotta rock a pin, whether it's the UNO pin, my business fraternity pin, or this time is my Pike pin, my Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity alumni pin. You know, as I was just thinking about my men meeting this morning, the Midlands Elder Care Network group, it really got me thinking about how in 2018, when I was first getting started in the brokerage side of insurance, when I was focusing on Medicare, I was doing all of my work exclusively in rural areas, rural communities. I'm talking Rayville, Nebraska, population 21, Marysville, Kansas, home of the black squirrel. It's just really obscure parts of Nebraska and Kansas. And it made me really recall some appointments that I had with some clients and prospects. We're in need of a lot of resources. We're in need of help. Just had no idea where to get certain medical devices. I'm out in these smaller communities. So when I shifted to starting doing business in Omaha last year in 2019, I really was excited and happy to see these networking groups pop up for seniors, because the Medicare field with insurance is messy and complicated enough, as people think. I would disagree with that. It's just lack of education. But it's these older people have enough to worry about, and they're on fixed incomes. Their Social Security doesn't go up by much, and the amount that does go up, the cost for Medicare that they're paying into still goes up by just about as much, if not more, and then tackle their supplement raising every year on top of that. We call it the old age tax. It's just hard for them. So I'm really glad to see, at least in Omaha and the surrounding communities here in the 402, I guess, and the 712 southeast or southwest Iowa, there's a big group of people that are kind of spearheading outreach for just a bunch of resources for the senior population. I think it's really good. And I wish there's a way to kind of better connect the city goers, I guess, to the rest of the state and to the rural parts of the Midwest, because I think these resources could be very useful, obviously, for everyone, not just those that are right in the metro areas. So I hope that that'll one day shift and there'll be more resources supplied towards those outside of Omaha and outside of cities. So right now I'm getting ready to head out to a luncheon, a insurance luncheon. Don't know exactly what it's about. I believe it's about future products coming to the Omaha area. Sorry, I'm looking for papers, seeing where I put information about some new products. Actually, ironically, found them. They're right here. But yeah, this luncheon, I guess it's called luncheon seminar, lunch and learn, whatever, is actually put on by another local broker in town. And sorry, I had to fix my glasses. And usually insurance people don't get along, but they're often forced to be around each other at some like new product launch seminars or some get-togethers for top producers that work with particular companies. But I don't know, it's always weird. I'm definitely the youngest by far at those types of events, these lunch and learns, the seminars that have other insurance brokers. And it just gets me really thinking that one, it's a growing industry, especially the Medicare side, obviously. Politics aside, things can change, kind of in a 2-year span, depending on different laws that get passed. There's talks of Medicare for all, which I think would be the worst thing in the world. The right wants to do away with the ACA, etc. I kind of got on a little tangent there, but it's a changing industry and it's an aging industry. I read a statistic the other day that allegedly, I don't know where they got their sources, but 20,000 people, and that's just so weird saying that, 20,000 people in the United States turn 65 every single day. That really just stopped me in my tracks when I read that. But not only are the, I guess, quote, clients aging, but so are the brokers. Insurance is the cliche insurance salesman is an old white fat dude that drives a BMW, 5 or 7 series. And I go and I look around at all these, go to these luncheons and these new product launches, and it just really gets me, my gears turning in my head. It gets me excited, one, that I'm already hanging out around, who are probably considered the top producers in Omaha. But also it gets me excited in a weird way because, God, in 10, 15, 20 years for sure, the top producers in Omaha will all be kind of gone from the industry. They'll be handing their books off. And that just makes me super excited. It makes me drool. It makes me itchy. It makes me I really much anticipate when that happens. Because I think it's a necessary need. I think younger people in the industry like myself are more innovative and more open to finding new products and finding new solutions for their clients. Now, that's a gross generalization. Of course, there's those that are veterans in the industry that are always looking for changes and innovations as well. But it's fascinating because, when X insurance brokerage in town, I don't want to name any names, when he or she retires, they're probably going to have a book of business, meaning a group of clients that are at least a couple hundred people from around the city that are now going to need new help because their agent no longer works. And maybe they move to Florida or they just retire and live in their big house out in West Omaha or Bennington or Linden Estates. And so it's just very curious. It gets me very intrigued to see where the industry is going. And, hopefully, I shouldn't say hopefully because I can carve my own path, but I feel very confident that I have kind of work secured for life. Although I'm full commission and completely 1099, I feel like I have better job security, ironically, than someone that works at like Union Pacific or ConAgra. So just something that's been on my mind as I'm heading out the door and going to this lunch and learn. I will keep you guys updated and give you as much details as I can after I go to this. But yeah, it's just fascinating to me. So I'll tell you guys whether or not I'm the youngest person there, which I probably will be. All right, so I was the youngest one there by about a couple decades at least. But it was very interesting. I will put up a picture of the product on the screen here. But no, it was a really interesting policy. And essentially is perfect for any employer so it was a product about group, for group benefits. And it's perfect for an employer who either usually doesn't meet the required participation from their employees to get the health insurance plan. It's also a perfect fit for employers that cannot afford to pay for health insurance plan. I mean, I'm looking at these premiums. You can get someone who's under 29 insured for like $70 or $80, which is nuts. But yeah, there are some holes in it, of course. The presenters kept stating that, as a reminder, this is a Band-Aid. It's not a perfect solution fix for health insurance, but it's definitely gives, I would say, a lot of smaller businesses or just some businesses that are kind of stuck in a weird limbo. It gives them an opportunity to actually offer some very good coverage to their employees at a super reasonable price. So I'm looking forward to being able to offer this product and getting contracted with them. Again, I'll throw the prices and some information up on the plan on screen now. So the lunch was good. Sorry, I don't chew. I just have a mint in my mouth after lunch. Also, I'm not peeing. I'm filling up my water bottle. Always drinking water. Everyone always says, man, I drink so much coffee, but I'm actually just always bringing water everywhere. Yeah, the lunch was good. My only problem, though, I wanted to let you guys know was when they brought my food out. So at luncheons, they usually give a couple of different options for what you can have to eat, and the food's always paid for, which is nice and very generous by the hosts. But I chose the top sirloin, the sirloin steak, which is a problem, one, because it totally just hurt my elbow trying to cut into that thing. Because when they brought it out, I swear to God, I heard it move still. I mean, this thing was so rare and just super tough and stringy, so that made it very difficult to cut. That was my only complaint from the lunch. Right now, though, I'm off to meet with a representative from Kemper Health. He's a district manager, I believe is his title. He is actually driving up from Wichita to talk to me, learn about my business up here in Nebraska, since I'm kind of really the only agent in Nebraska doing business. At least I think, as far as I'm aware. Just talking about future expansion, especially in their Medicare supplement lines, to looking at some new products that they got going. But before I met with him, I had to stop home real quick to grab the growler. I'm gonna go fill the growler up at Granite City. Shout out to Tim. He's the marketing manager at Granite City over by Westroads in Omaha. He's awesome. He's also running for a political office. I consider him a pretty good friend of mine. See him almost every week at their Granite City networking breakfast, or at the Young Republicans, or at the Douglas County Republican Party. I see him all the time. He's essentially like a coworker, even though I work for myself and by myself. But yeah, I'm going to Granite City real quick to refill up that growler, because I have a gift card that I actually won at the networking breakfast. So as if that's not enough reason to come wake up early on a Monday from 8 to 9 at Granite City for the free breakfast and networking. They also give out gift cards. I myself won a $20 gift card, and you can use that towards anything, and use it to fill up the growler. I have to fill up the growler not because I'm an alcoholic, but because I am a Crazy Sock Crew meeting is tonight. Crazy Sock Crew is the networking event networking group, I should say, that I created, because as I was doing all this networking all of last year, I realized really quickly that there's about at least a decade and a half age gap between myself and the next youngest person in the room, typically. So I wanted to make a networking group that focused on young business leaders and professionals that are under 34 years old. And so I remember when I was posting about that online, someone called me an ageist and an elitist. And I said, perfect, that's exactly what I was going for. Because this networking group not only is for young people, but it's also for those who are full commission positions, who run their own business, own their own business, or also on like the board of a nonprofit, or have just really revamped their whole, the structure of some sort of organization. But yeah, so that's why I'm refilling up the growler. Then I'm going to meet with the representative from Kemper Health to learn more about how I can just kind of stay in touch with them, since I'm kind of a lone wolf up here in Nebraska selling their products, and that they recently unveiled and launched their new Medicare supplements. So it'll be interesting to hear about those. Talk to you guys soon. All right, I just stopped home. I was at Flagship Commons out at Westroads meeting with the gentleman, the regional manager from Kemper Health. He showed me their new Medicare supplements and their rates and their applications, and it looks really good. I'm kind of super excited actually to see this roll out in the Nebraska markets. But yeah, we talked about all things. I just kind of asked him, obviously being in a regional position like that, district manager, I guess, he is a captive agent, obviously. And so he just kind of shed some light on why he thinks their products are best, not only for Medicare, but also for the under 65 market. So yeah, it was kind of cool. And also, I just kind of picked his brain on all things from HSA to his thoughts about what the current healthcare and health insurance system is like and how he would change it, because everyone in this industry would change it. Yeah, we talked about a lot of good stuff. I felt it was really nice of him to drive up here from Wichita to meet with me. I found out I'm going to be the one and only local broker selling Kemper Health's Medicare supplements. Starting now. I'm all contracted and ready to go. But he tried to kind of get me to be captive again, which I made some good arguments, but I always feel that if I'm going to truly service my clients the best way, I need to be a fully independent broker. So I probably will forever be a broker, regardless of any sort of financial incentives, I guess you could call it, of being a captive agent. But yeah, actually on my way out of that meeting, I ran into this guy, Trevor Titus, I think was his name. Sorry, Trevor, if I got that wrong. But him and I never actually met in person, but he recognized me from Facebook, from online. And as I was walking by, he was just working in the food court area, and he stopped me. He goes, "Hey, Colin." I was surprised that he remembered my name, because I certainly did not remember his. But him and I talked a lot about Facebook ads, Amway, mutual friends that we went to high school and college with, so that was kind of cool. It's always a conversation topic in Omaha. If you don't know what to say, either talk about the weather or where you went to high school and who you know, because you guys always know at least someone similar. But yeah, him and I talked. Then I stopped over to Granite City real quick, filled up the growler, and now I went home real quick. I grabbed a snack, came home to some, I have a couple paychecks from a couple different carriers, so that was always a pleasant surprise. Although that shouldn't be a surprise, should it? I should know when and how much I will be getting paid, but I don't, because I am bad at organization. But yeah, now I'm heading off to Crazy Sock Crew, our first monthly meeting, our evening meeting of February. And that is at my good friend Kayla's house. She is a hairstylist. She created her own business. I'll plug her probably down in the comments of this video. She's fantastic, really great, really personal. She does men's hair, women's hair, aliens' hair, anyone's hair she'll do. But her specialty, she says she really does a good job when it comes to curly females' hair. But I'm off to Crazy Sock Crew. I'm the president of and founder of that networking group. Again, that's a networking group for those under 34 years old who are what we consider business leaders. So they're either full commission, own and run their own business, or serve on the board of a business or nonprofit around town. But yeah, it should be a good meeting. We have a couple unique roundtable discussions. I will give you guys a recap after that.
Okay, yeah, of March. And that event goes from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. A few of us were there the whole time last year, so like, oh, you're like smiling at the camera.
I go to bar every Tuesday morning at 5:45 a.m. and that really like helps me. Bar.
Yeah. Does it start Wednesdays at any or Sundays at any time?
First week.
All right, so it's currently 11:35 p.m. Crazy Sock Crew was a huge success tonight. A lot of people showed up. I had some good conversations. Now, I mentioned earlier I'm the president of Crazy Sock Crew, and I try to mix it up. A lot of networking groups are very standard, very routine. Do the same thing every week, go around and introduce yourself, and then here's this week's speaker. But with Crazy Sock Crew, I like to sometimes have a speaker. It's always someone who's in the group actually coming to speak about their business, kind of about themselves, about how they got where they are. But also, I like to incorporate roundtable discussions and just kind of advice sharing, I guess, and deep thinking. I encourage that amongst the group. And so tonight, we didn't have a presenter, no guest speaker, or no speaker, I guess I should say. But we did do is we talked about some upcoming philanthropy events that we have going on with one of our service, I guess, partners in town. And then we also talked about our daily routine, which I thought was very interesting. Talked about what we do on a day-to-day basis, because, as I mentioned, we're all business owners or independent contractors. Not too many of us have a side job, or a 9-to-5, excuse me. A couple people, they'll have their side job be their business or their independent contracting and still working 9-to-5 during the day, which is fine. They're still just starting off. But yeah, so all of us are, for the most part, in control of our schedule completely, or at least partially. Some people have flex days, etc. But it's really interesting to hear what essentially people spun it as. Their day-to-day activities kind of vary, but their routines, their morning and or night routines are always basically the same. And I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting the group to kind of take that question and go towards routines more and habits. And so I thought that was very interesting. Then that brought out a discussion about people like Jocko Williams, David Goggins, the app called Habitica that lets you track your habits and kind of gamifies your actions throughout the day. But yeah, it's a very good meeting. The philanthropy events that we have coming up are with Acton Academy. Acton Academy, they're not a Montessori school. They're more of a school that focuses on the process and building critical thinking skills and character development within the children. Acton Academy Omaha is pretty new, just opened up within, I believe, the past year, if I'm not mistaken. But it fosters entrepreneurial thinking, and they have a children's business fair every semester where students from around the city come and literally sell their products to the public. It's free to attend to the public, but then the people who want to come and attend and visit will buy tickets with real money, and then give the tickets to the children. Someone might be selling slime for 2 tickets, etc. Some are really amazing. If you go to this, it'll make you feel like you aren't doing anything with your life, because there's some 8, 9, 10-year-olds who make like $400 in a day at the children's business fair. It's really nuts. They're just amazing talent and gives me a lot of hope for the future, and especially the future of our city, hoping that these kids stay here. So that's the philanthropy event we talked about. Other than that, that was kind of it. I'm trying to think. There's one more thing. Our social. We talked about our upcoming social, and the socials for Crazy Sock Crew, we decided, are open to everyone, not just members of the networking group. And this social is this Friday, actually. It is a board game night, so that'll be fun. I plan on bringing Catan, the Settlers of Catan, or Catan, however you want to say it. If you have not played that game, this has turned out to be a game recommendation show. I recommended Yu-Gi-Oh to you guys a little bit ago, and now I'm recommending Catan. Both games are phenomenal, but everyone's supposed to bring their favorite board game or bring a board game, and I chose to bring Catan for this Friday. But yeah, it's about 11:42 now, and I'm just finishing up some. I didn't get a chance to respond to any emails or text messages, business text messages throughout the day, so I'm gonna respond to a couple of those and then probably read a little bit, hopefully at least 15 minutes. Probably won't get to, though. I'm gonna try to go to bed by midnight tonight. I need to be better about my sleep schedule, but I'll cut back to you guys in just a second here, and I'll show you the book that I'm reading currently for this month. So here is the book. It is called The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin. Ironically, I found out actually that the author of this book, Ms. Rubin, she has some ties and lived in North Platte, which is actually where a big bulk of my insurance business took place about a year and a half to 2 years ago now. It's about 4 hours away from Omaha. I try to read a book a month. It was a New Year's resolution, as cheesy as that sounds. I sneeze way too much in these videos, man. So yeah, I try to read a book every single month. It was a New Year's resolution that I started, I think, gosh, I want to say 2017. No, it must have been 2018, I think. But I fell off towards the end of, I think towards the end of last year, or maybe 2 years ago. I'm having trouble remembering. But I fell off and I really regretted it. And so for 2020, the year of perfect vision, I'm trying to pick that back up. And so yeah, that's the book that I am currently reading for the month of February. Overall, I'd say it was a pretty standard day. I started the day off with the men networking group, the Midlands Elder Care Network. Then around the lunch hour from 11 to 1-ish, I had the Lunch and Learn that was put on by another local broker here, who I may end up, quote, partnering with / kind of getting a couple products that he has exclusive, or I don't know the exact situation, but I might go through him to get a couple products, especially the one that I saw today at that Lunch and Learn. I think it has a very, I wouldn't say niche, but pretty broad actually application to a lot of small businesses. I think it'd be good just to have in my tool belt, even though group isn't my main focus at this point in my career. But after that, then I met with the manager for Kemper Health, or one of the managers, I should say, at Kemper Health, and just got to pick his brain on all things healthcare and health insurance, and also get exposed to their new Medicare supplement that they have just rolled out, and the underwriting for that product. Nothing too special with their new med sup. Besides the rates are very competitive, at least in the Nebraska market. So I actually probably will plan on selling that for some Medicare clients. But yeah, then after that, stopped home real quick, grabbed a little bit of bite to eat, and headed off to Crazy Sock Crew, which was a good way to end the social aspect of my day. And after Crazy Sock Crew, came home, checked emails, answered some texts. Unfortunately found out that one of my clients will not be getting approved for her Medicare supplement. It turns out she has emphysema and still smokes, which I must have escaped my mind when I was asking her the health questions last week. But so it goes. Unfortunately, you can't help everyone. And at least it's not a client that I lost, or a sale that I lost because I didn't have the right product, or because I didn't do my job. I mean, it was just something that was completely unavoidable. You know, no matter who she goes with, no matter what other broker she tries to go with, no one will be able to get her approved, unfortunately. But yeah, that's about a wrap for today. As I'm walking around in circles down here, that's a wrap. It's a pretty standard day. Gosh, started at like 7:45, I guess, if you want to include drive time. Just now wrapping up, coming at midnight. So definitely a long day, but that's how you got to do it when you're running your own business. Thank you guys for staying with me on this journey, and I will see you soon. Something real quick that I wanted to just throw in here about Crazy Sock Crew. During the networking group, at the start of the networking group, I give everyone 60 seconds to go around the circle and kind of do their intro, you know, say their name, the business they're with or that they started, and what they do. But also with that, I make people include one thing that they're grateful for. I think it's really important, especially nowadays, just with everything, not just the political climate that everyone says, but just nowadays we're quick to kind of forget what's important and just how much we really take for granted. You know, having 2 arms that work, which ironically I don't know why I use that example. But having 2 arms that work, you know, clean drinking water, electricity when you flip on a switch, we take a lot of things for granted. So in the 60-second intros, I make people go around and also say something that they're grateful for. And I think it's just very important to spread positivity everywhere that you're going. I wish that more people did that, you know, especially on social media. You see all these negative posts, all this hate, fear, anger, but no one's really, you know, I forget who it was, but someone joked around and said, you know, when's the last time that anyone has ever posted about their flight leaving on time? Never. You only get posts of people posting when their flight is delayed or they have to go, you know, they have a super long layover, etc. So that's my, I guess, passing on of good vibes for the day, is to encourage everyone of you to think of something you're grateful for right now. You know, one thing that Gary Vaynerchuk always preaches is that doing the right thing will always be the right thing. And I guess another spin-off on that is, you know, you do right by someone, they'll do right by you, you know, karma, etc., the golden rule. And today I actually, I received a card in the mail from an address I didn't recognize. It was in town though. I thought, that's weird. But I opened the card, and it was actually a thank you note and a Starbucks gift card. Even though I hate Starbucks, support local coffee shops, always. But it was a coffee gift card, just because I'd left that business a review on Facebook after I went to them recently. So, goes back to what I always say, you know, spread positivity.